My name's Phil Heard, farm here at Meldon Farm near Campden on northern slopes of Dartmoor. The farm's 700 acres of in-by lowland ground, and we've also got quite extensive grazing rights on the commons of Dartmoor. We're running around 350 cows and approximately 1,200 ewes. On the cattle side, we run approximately 120 Welsh black cows, which are either kept pure or crossed with a Limousin. These obviously make use of the poorer grazing on Dartmoor. And we run around 230 Limousin Holstein cows, which we cross up with a Charolais. Also got a small herd of a dozen 15 pedigree Charolais cattle. And we also run a small riding holiday business called Dartmoor Riding Holidays. Meldon Farm is very much a family farm. My parents bought the farm when they first got married in the late 50s. I came home from school at 16 and started working here, and we took over after foot and mouth in the year 2001. We were taken out with foot and mouth as a contiguous farm, and it just seemed an appropriate time to reassess what we were doing, and for the parents to sort of step back, take life a little bit easier, and for me to pick up the reins. On the cattle side, we start with our spring calvers. These are predominantly Limousin Holstein, and we start calving the heifers in the middle of March, usually to Limousin, and the cows start the 1st of April. Previous winter they would all have been housed on slats. We give them a diet of mainly silage, straight silage, and we bulk it out about a month before they calve with either straw or some lower quality round bale haylage. We also bolus the cows with a trace element bolus about a month before calving. This has got iodine, selenium, copper and cobalt. This is a 6 months lasting bolus and also covers the bulling period as well. We calve indoors on the slats. Cows are monitored round the clock. As soon as a calf is born, he's moved into a strawed yard where we ensure he gets sufficient colostrum in the first 6 hours. And as soon as that calf sucks on his own, he's tagged and he's turned out in the field with his mother. All bull calves are left entire. They are set stocked at approximately bunches of 30. We're very much a grassland system, so the cows are on grass, set stocked on grass through the summer. We introduce creep about the middle of June, end of June, and the bulls also go in at the same time. Our key principles are get as much growth into the calf as possible when he's on a mother, and to get the cow back in calf again. Those are our two main key principles for our spring calving cows. When we're bulling, we rotate the bulls every 3 weeks. It's my own personal belief that perhaps the cows get a bit more excited when the fresh bull goes in. Although we do semen test the bulls. If ever there is a problem with a bull, that's not noticeable to us, by a bull only being in there for 3 weeks, he's not causing a great deal of damage. We've also got a small bunch of Limousin Holsteins which calve in the autumn. These would only number between 60 and 70. They are mainly perhaps ones that don't get in calf from the spring calvers. Rather than let them go 12 months or culling, we decide to let them calve in the autumn. Again, these are worked the Charolais. They're wintered in cubicles, and we feed them a TMR ration through the feeder. Again, the calves are left entire. We do get extremely good growth rates from the calves. The bull calves are weaned in the spring, April, and the cows are turned out on rough grazing for the summer. And heifer calves are turned out with their mothers throughout the summer weaned sort of mid to late August. The autumn calvers start calving the last week in August and calve through September and October, and they're all finished by the time of housing the 1st of November. The bulls are introduced pretty much when the cows come indoors, and they're in for approximately 12 to 13 weeks. With the autumn calvers, obviously you've got the housing issues, i.e. they are a little bit susceptible to pneumonia because the cow's running with the cow, whereas the cow likes lots of ventilation, etc. in the buildings. A calf needs to be kept reasonably warm and insulated. So we are in a pneumonia vaccinating regime. This was done by first identifying which pathogens were there. This was done by blood testing recovered cases from the previous year, and then working out which appropriate vaccine was to use. Our third herd is a purebred herd of Welsh black cows. These predominantly calve in the autumn. They calve up on the commons, up on Dartmoor. We go up every morning to check around them. They're very easy care, very easy. They're very good mothers. They calve very easily on their own. We either work these to a pure Welsh black or a Limousin or an easy calving Charolais. Again, these calves are kept entire. The male calves are left as bulls. We wean the male calves late April, and all the crossbred calves are also weaned. And we turn the purebred heifer calves back out onto the common with their mother for the summer. The cows summer up on the common with very little maintenance, and they calve up there again late summer, August and September. Particular problems with the hill cows are, again, pneumonia in the calves. This has been pretty well cracked with vaccination. And several years ago we did have a little bit of Johne's problem in the Welsh black cows. Welsh blacks, I know, are a little bit susceptible to it. We started blood testing probably 6 or 7 years ago. We were getting sort of 6 or 7 positive cases back then. Now we whittled it down to about 1 or 2 a year. We're also identifying the cows before the disease gets acute, so that we can sell these cows before the condition affects them. When it comes to marketing our cattle, we sell everything as store cattle. For the last 3 years we sold everything to one finisher. The bull calves are sold pretty much at sort of 6-7 months old, and heifer calves, spring-born heifer calves are sold in the autumn, and the autumn-born heifer calves are sort of sold at 9, 10 or 12 months old, sort of late in the summer. So we try and clear everything out in the autumn. This particular buyer, he likes our cattle, he likes our growth rates, he likes our killing out percentages, and he is prepared to pay a premium for the quality that we're producing. It's a lot easier for us to be able to sell him, 70, 80 cattle in one bunch, rather than try and get them all bunched up and get them into market. He's also got an approved finishing unit, which means we don't have to TB test to send him in there either. So he can come one day, pick out the cattle he likes, agree a price, and he can take them the next. And it works extremely well for us. We, in return, are also vaccinating the cattle before he gets them for any issues he's got on farm, and in that way we're sort of quite prepared to help each other out, and it works extremely well for both of us. I became a focus farm because in conjunction with our vets we were already doing quite a large number of animal health issues that I wanted to address or improve on the farm. Like everybody, I'm always trying to improve my conception rates. And the vet suggested that we perhaps vaccinate for BVD, improve the nutrition of the autumn calvers when they were going to bull. We also wanted to increase the number of calves that we reared. This was done by identifying perhaps where we lose calves. To that end, we used to calve outside in all weathers. So we moved calving into indoors, monitored calving a lot better to give them sort of 24-hour surveillance, doing more vaccinating against respiratory diseases, and we also wanted to increase the weight of the calves that we reared. This was done by selecting higher growth rate bulls to work on our cows, and also creep feeding quite intensively while the calf was on the cow. So in conjunction with our vets, we worked out a herd health program to address issues, any little niggly problem that I wanted to try and improve. So first one was he suggested we vaccinate with BVD, so we did the whole herd for BVD. We're also doing for lepto as well now. The iodine bolus, a trace element bolus before they calve, was another thing that had quite a dramatic effect. We were getting iodine deficiency in the spring calves when the calves were born. This was shown itself by what looked like perfectly normally healthy full-term calves being born, stillborn, and the cows then having retained cleansings. We did some blood tests on the cows that this condition affected, and the iodine reading was literally zilch. As soon as we bolus the cows, it all disappeared, and we do it now as a matter of routine before they calve. In the past, being a high rainfall area and being down to all grassland, we did get grass staggers problems. This has been controlled pretty well. I do believe the trace element bolus has helped that a little bit as well. We do keep a mag lick bucket out in front of them all the time as well. The Johne's disease, I said we address that as well. Blood test the cows every year, just the roast black cows, and this has also helped reduce the incidence of Johne's in the herd. We take them out as soon as they show any antibodies, and obviously they are then not passing it around to the rest of the herd. This has resulted in us losing less calves. We're rearing bigger, heavier cattle at weaning, and we're also getting more cows in calf. We try and keep our calving pattern fairly compact. For the spring calvers, we're running about 14-15 weeks, and we pull the bulls out at the end of that, and anything's not in calf, she's either cold or she joins the autumn calvers. Likewise with the autumn calving cows, they've got a 10 or 11 week bulling period. This is because the cows, the whole bunch, it's not a very big bunch, they're housed together, and if you've got a big wide spread of calf age, the younger ones do get a lot of disease problems picked up from the older calves. Our principles are that it's better to leave that cow dry for 6 months and let her calve early as in the next bunch, as opposed to be continually calving late in the bunch that she's in. So it does mean sometimes that if you get a bad year, you do get more cows that you cull, but it does mean that you aren't getting those small late born calves that aren't really suited to our system. I do think the farmer focused meetings have been a big benefit, not only to myself but other people who visited the farm. We all like to pick up fresh ideas. It's nice to discuss things with other farmers. We're not perfect, but I do think a lot of people go away from here with sort of fresh ideas, fresh approaches to how they manage their own system. And we pick up other tips from the consultants and other farmers that have been at the meetings as well, how we can improve things.